What's going on, all my commissioners in the Asgardian League of Fantasy? It's your commish, Olive Juice 88, coming at you with a Week 14 recap real quick. Yes, it's Tuesday night. I'm getting this done early. That way it's done before the first round of the playoffs start, and we can get all these little bits and good parts in now before everybody starts to stress out whether or not they're going to move on and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into our games from last week. We have Melvin, taking me out. It's an 8-point game. James Conner, he turned it on. And had it not been for Melvin having DeAndre Hopkins on the other side, on the same team, but on the other side of this matchup, maybe I could have caught him. Maybe I could have took him down. Maybe I could have felt good going into the playoffs, knowing that I could possibly beat the number one seed. But it was a close game. I can see he's not invincible, so hopefully, if it comes down to it, I'll be able to take him out in the long run, where it matters the most in the playoffs. And so in our second game, we had Eric taking out Brad. I had close eyes on this game because I do have a extra first round pick in this next rookie draft, and I was kind of hoping that Brad would win and both of the Bryans would lose, because that would ensure that I would have a top four pick and I wouldn't have to worry about this person outscoring that person and all this other stuff. But it is what it is. Brad's team kind of sucks, and not just that. We all know the travesty that was that terrible offseason trade, or week one trade, that sent Brad's first round pick to Melvin, and now it seems to be that Melvin is now going to have a top four pick in next year's rookie draft. So, what are you going to do? Anyway, that was a 29-point game. It wasn't even close, so I'm just going to move on to the next one. In our third game, we had Mr. Carton, the original owner of the extra first-round pick that I have in next year's rookie draft. I had my eyes close on this matchup because, wanted the Bryans to lose. But alas, it was not meant to be, as Matt Murphy could not put together a winning roster, and he ends up losing by 9. Really big ups to Miles Sanders in this game, who I am naming offensive MVP with 31.5 points. There was no other running back on this roster that Brian could have played to win this game against Mr. Matt Murphy. So, it is what it is, and we just had to sit and await the final score of this next game to determine whether or not Mr. Carden is going to make the playoffs. So let's see. We had Jay Russ taking on Josh Jansen. Battle of two of the three Joshes in the league here. I do believe, because correct me if I'm wrong, Jay Russ, if your name's not Josh. I thought it was Josh. But, if I'm wrong, let me know. It's whatever. But anyway, Jay Russ did take out Mr. Josh Jansen, which did knock Jansen down into the 5th seed of this year's playoffs and elevated Mr. Russell up to the 4th seed. That was a 13-point game, and it's looking like your boy is going to have a top 4 pick in the race for Bijan Robinson. We are looking good. So, sorry, Carden. I'm actively rooting against you. I hope you lose out, because we cannot let Melvin get Bijan Robinson on top of his already stacked running back room. God, dang it, Brad. And so, in our final matchup, we did have our other Brian, my brother, Mr. Smith, take out Daryl Papa Bear. The season of nightmares continues, finishes 1-13, a 34-point loss in this season, regular season finale. And I'm just going to have to give Mr. Josie Jewell the defensive MVP of the week with his 37 points. Big time game there. Now, that being said, our regular season matchups did not disappoint this week, as there was a lot on the line. There were two playoff spots up for grabs because Josh Jansen was secure in his spot due to points. Now, he did get knocked down to the 5th seed instead of the 4th seed with his loss this week. So, but you know, why am I breaking it down? Let's just go to the bracket. Our 1 seed, Melvin Johnson, with the first round bye, will take on the winner of Week 14 rematch in J. Russ and Mr. Jansen as the 4 and 5 seeds. Now, our 2 seed and the owner of the other first round bye, Mr. Eric Bray, been solid all year. He's got a solid team, and we'll see who he takes on, as he will take on the winner of the Battle of the Brothers in myself, the 3 seed, and my brother, Mr. Brian Smith, as the 6 seed. Down in the toilet bowl this week, we have the 7 seed, Brian Carton, taking on the 10 seed, old Papa Bear. And I'm rooting for you, Dad. Don't let me down. All I want for Christmas is a first round toilet bowl win for you. Do it for me. I need Bijan Robinson, buddy. And in the 8-9 seed matchup, it is Brad taking on Matt Murphy. Brad, come through for me. You got to win here, buddy. We cannot let that trade get worse. You cannot let Melvin have a chance at a top 2 pick. Come on, Brad. Do whatever you got to do. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you've got to I really don't. I really don't know. I don't know what you got to do, Brad. I don't know what you have to do. It's almost like Devil went down to Georgia, but you're looking for a fantasy win, okay? So I hope you can play the fiddle real good and get a fantasy win. I don't know where I was going to go with that metaphor. I just kind of threw it together. I am trying to rush through this video because it is about bedtime. So now, the last thing I got for this week's video is our Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year awards. I'm just gonna go to it. I was gonna put it up for a vote, but then I decided, nah, I'm the commish. I get to decide who I felt made the biggest impact on their teams. I was looking through it. The top scorers in the leagues are all quarterbacks. Let's face it. I mean, yeah, they are great quarterbacks, but for the most part, at any given week, you can take a quarterback off waivers, like myself. Took Jared Goff, played him in a favorable matchup, and he delivered for me off the waiver wire. So that being said, I wanted to look at who were in the most dire of straits, and I really decided that it really came down to 2 teams who were down on their luck, and they made some things happen. J. Russ, he shipped Saquon Barkley and Garrett Wilson and got back Austin Eckler and Cortland Sutton, I think it was, in return. And Austin Eckler, he's going to be our first Player of the Year, Fantasy MVP nominee. He's the running back 1. He's the 7th overall player on the year. Yes, that is including defensive players. And after that trade, J. Russ just ripped off 6 wins out of his last 9 games. Went 6-3, finished 8-6 on the year. So I mean, my man was sitting at 2-3 And now look at him. He's in the playoffs. Austin Eckler had 290.7 points on the year and straight beasted. Um, our second one, it's another running back. And what do you know? It came in a trade as Josh Jansen shipped basically Debo and Taysom Hill and got back a haul. One of those pieces was Josh Jacobs, the running back 2 on the year, overall the 9th player. After that trade, Jacobs did have a bye week in week 6. Josh won anyway, and after that bye week in week 6, he went 5-3 after starting 0-4. He won two more games and then went 5-3. So he was sitting 2-4, 5-3, finished 7-7. Due in large part to Josh Jacobs, 256.8 points on the season. Straight beasted. All that taken into consideration, I'm inclined to award this to Austin Eckler. The running back 1 on the season. He outscores Josh Jacobs by almost 40 points. And just after looking at the rosters, nobody else really at the running back position came close to Austin Eckler's production for J. Russ. So I went ahead and went with that. You still had Joe Mixon, was another solid running back that Jansen had to fall back on. And really, other than Eckler, you had an inconsistent Travis Etienne and a Kenneth Walker who didn't even really get going until halfway through the season because he was the backup. So, I really felt that Austin Eckler was a more important piece to his team. So he gets the recognition here as the first winner, because I didn't do this last year, but the first winner of offensive MVP regular season honors. Our defensive nominees were the linebacker 1 on the season, Foyesade Oluokun, 286 points, leading Melvin to the first round bye, and he was the overall 10th player out of everybody, offense and defense. And Eric having Max Crosby, the number 1 defensive lineman, the overall 11 player on the season, leading Eric to a first round bye with his 282 points. So really 4 points split them. And I decided to award this honor to Max Crosby. When I really looked at it, Melvin had 2 other linebackers that had more than 240 points, also on his team. So, and Eric had 1 other guy score 200. So, all that being said, I felt like Mr. Crosby's contributions meant more to Eric's team than Foyesade's did to Melvin's team. So congratulations to you guys for recognizing great talent and, playing them and working out some victories. So moving on, we're going to go right to Rookie of the Years. I am going to list off 4 offensive nominees in 2 receivers and 2 running backs. We're going to start with Mr. Brian Cardin's wide receiver 18, 117th overall, Chris Olave, with 7 starts on the season and 176.7 points. We've got Eric and his wide receiver 19 overall, 121, Garrett Wilson, and his 5 starts on the season with 175.2 points. All of those starts did take place after the trade that got Garrett Wilson. And then we have the running back 16 on the year, the overall 132nd player, Dameon Pierce, with his 11 starts for Brad. Really trying to fill in that Derrick Henry role after that just terrible trade. Oh my God. I hate thinking about it. It makes my head hurt. Had 167.4 total points. And then Mr. J. Russ is running back 18 on the year, overall 165. Kenneth Walker and his 7 starts with 155.5 points. Oh my goodness. I've been talking so much. I'm getting a little winded. Let me take a couple deep breaths. That helps with the headache too, because I am giving Dameon Pierce the Rookie of the Year for the offensive side. Yes, it was a terrible trade. Dameon Pierce was the 4th overall pick in the past season rookie draft, and I thought it was stupid. I sat right over here in this area, called Brad an idiot. He was sitting right back there. As you see, my daughter's costume wig from Halloween. Called him an idiot, and I thought he was. And Dameon Pierce came out. He had a great year. No, he's a RB2, a solid RB2. I have him in another league. I've enjoyed playing him, with the exception of a couple of weeks that he didn't do much. But he started 11 games for Brad. So that was really that was hard to overlook. And that's one of the reasons why I gave him the Rookie of the Year title. And on the defensive side, there was only one choice. He made 7 starts, 174 points on the year. I don't think any other defensive rookie came close in starts, like not even within 5. I don't think any other defensive rookie started more than 1, maybe 2 games. So yes, Papa Bear, you do get some recognition here with your 42nd linebacker, overall 123rd player on the year, Devin Lloyd, 7 starts, 174 points. It was really no contest. Yes, there were other defensive rookies that scored more points, but none of them started games. They're on the waiver wire. They're defensive backs that nobody really tries to play. So all that being said, yes, this video ended up running a lot longer than I wanted it to. I did try to talk fast. I did run out of breath a couple of times because I am way too much out of shape, and I need to start working on that soon. That being said, I am going to check with Topgolf soon about their 2-bay bundles, to that way wildcard weekend comes around, we can maybe have a get together to exchange trophies, and just celebrate a wonderful fantasy season with you guys. It's been a lot of fun. It's been pretty stressful at times, and I just want to thank you guys for just being great commissioners in this league with me. So all that being said, good luck to everybody in their matchups. Melvin, Eric, take a week off. Y'all earned it. Everybody else, let's get some W's. See y'all next week.